on a diet. I don't eat more than 1,500 calories a day. And 1,000 of those calories have to be protein. And then I work out for a couple hours in the morning. So, chicken. Today is a momentous occasion because I have managed to trick another talented creator into interacting with me. He goes by the name of Dolfy. I truly believe he has a unique take on the subject of resurrecting and restoring Total War to its former glory. And he has a particular insight about him that will be useful going forward, not just for me, but for the entire community. He's an enthusiastic and dedicated and explosive personality. Please go check out his videos. He's already made 2 videos about the subjects we discuss in this video here. Please go subscribe to him if you haven't. He's very knowledgeable. I've already learned a lot and incorporated many things that he's taught me into my ideology. So, here's the video. Real quick, I'm just thinking about this. When you see the recording, I am drinking, but it's just some Guinness from the other day. The last thing I did like this with Apollo, I didn't drink, and I was a jittery mess. So we're gonna try it this way, and maybe, hopefully, my schizophrenic ramblings will stay at a minimum this time.
I was thinking of buying a mead or something to just like control the flow.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
It can also enables the conversations to be a little bit spicier, but I just went with cranberry soup. Not cranberry soup. What the fuck? It's like a syrup, basically, a very, very dense syrup.
I like cranberry soup better.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful, though. There's not a lot of alcohol in this. So
I don't know what the name of it is. It's like gelatinous mass.
Delicious. All right.
Yeah.
So, first topic I want to bring up. In your response video to the video me and Apollo did, if I'm interpreting the line correctly, you mentioned that you took... Well, you didn't mention... You kind of implied that you took issue with the way I suggested CA do things differently. So I would like, in your own words, how should we be demanding changes? And like, what, in your opinion, what is the proper way to do that?
For one, we really lack the direction. I have a theory that CI Sophia made Pharaoh because they thought that this was actually what people wanted. The historical crowd is like, where's our historical game? Where is the, like, just remove the ass ladders, make them into these, like, buildable ladders. That's what they did exactly. Add something like weather, that's also what they did. Remove single entities, add family trees. They kind of forgot about the generals being mortal initially, which is kind of funny. But then with Dynasty's update, they also pandered to the community who really wanted a bigger map. Also combined with Troy, all that sort of stuff, because like they already tried with Troy as well to make all of these units, like the charger units, the heavy sword units, whatever, which I think kind of comes from Shogun 2, where people also really like the unit diversity in that game, or unit variety. I don't know which word people use these days, but
yeah,
they also tried with that game. So I have a theory that we don't really show the actual direction we want the games to go. Yes, you can have customization, you can have all sorts of features, except like for some people who keep saying just add paradox features, please fuck off with this. I don't know if people realize, for one, paradox games are real time. A lot of the features just don't work in Total War, especially war weariness that they try to add in multiple games.
They did, yeah.
Because it's such a pain in the ass to piece out in Total War, but in something like EU4. It's just like, collect war score, hold this position for this long of a time, you can do fucking whatever, but in Total War you have to actually fight these battles.
Right.
Something like Sieges as well, just hold out, some breaches will be made, but in Attila it's like you have to hold out for 5 turns or something for one breach to be made. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Well, we could bounce back and forth about that, because I kind of like the concept of there having to take time in order to make a hole in a wall. But when it comes to, you know, paradox features or whatever that entails, I think mostly people, what they mean by that is the events that happen, you know, at the beginning of your turn, you know, at the beginning of your turn, you've caught syphilis or whatever. I think that's what people mainly associate when they say paradox features. But again, you know, it's not very specific. Add paradox features. What does that mean? And then you get things like.
I saw a video of someone demanding features, like having their own wish list for Medieval 3, and one of them was this Crusader Kings 3 feature where you plant a banner. And, like, units are supposed to assemble. How the fuck are you supposed to make that happen in Total War? How many turns are, like, huh?
Yeah, no, that doesn't...
From where are they gonna assemble? It works so well in CK3. It works well in CK3 because, for one, it's real-time again.
Right.
Provinces are a thing. Don't really have to worry about so many tiles. And, boom, you can also be attacked as you're trying to get your units together, whether in Total War it would be probably like in Thrones of Britannia, where you have units assemble and then it's like this replenishment and you actually need to wait 7 turns for a unit to be full strength or something.
Right.
Which I wouldn't mind, but like it's just like how many things you have to do in a single turn, it just becomes very tedious.
Yeah, and we don't, from my understanding of the Total War crowd and from talking to Apollo, I think the consensus is we don't want we don't want a logistically difficult campaign, which I understand. It keeps from getting to the battles, which is what Total War is known for. The tactical battles. You know, that's what people enjoyed about the game initially. So in your opinion, what is the proper way we should be asking for change? What should we what is the framework for correctly asking for change from creative assembly?
They should be designing the games around the AI, because while making this abomination of a flowchart, I also thought about the campaigns, and there's this trend where we don't actually play against the AI. We don't actually play against like any sort of opponent. We're just playing. We have our own quote-unquote mechanics. Thanks whoever keeps fucking glazing that shit. Like, wow, Beastman mechanic. You received an event, a full moon. Wow, crazy. But when you play against that race, you don't actually feel anything from them.
Right.
There's nothing that happens. I had to go through a couple of Reddit links.
Oh. Just
of people discussing what sort of things they've experienced the AI actually do. There's not really that much. I used some cheat mods to look at what equipment some of the lords have. They basically have starting equipment and maybe some quest items. The AI doesn't really do that much, so... With games like Shogun 1 and Medieval 1, the AI is definitely playing the game, but in the sense that, like, you can also use all of the negatives against them. So, for example, they have a civil war mechanic. Fucking hell, I'm using the mechanic. Basically, they have an influence, and when the king's influence goes down, they have a risk of triggering a civil war. Now, this is very different from games like Rome 1 or Medieval 2 even, where the generals would revolt, maybe. Yeah. And a lot of the features actually connect to the influence. So if you expand your territory, you gain influence. If you lose your territory, you lose influence. It's kind of like Shogun 2, basically. Mm-hmm. But they have a lot more happen. like if you break alliances, well, that's still like Shogun too, but they also have crusades. So you gain influence from winning crusades, which would be like Medieval 2 basically, but you also lose influence if you lose crusades. So if you're playing a Muslim faction, for example, you can defend your lands against crusaders, and eventually the Christian nations will just devolve into civil wars, basically. And seeing that happen to the AI is so fucking funny. Just seeing this massive nation just dissolve, basically.
It's cool. It's cool, and it's a simulation of what might actually happen. And
like it's like you're actually fighting an opponent this entire time. In the Medieval 2, what even happens if you lose a crusade? Your crusading army just vanishes and nothing happens. Imagine, like, I don't know if anyone's actually played the Muslim faction in Medieval 2 and actually enjoyed it, or if they haven't just abused jihads a lot.
I definitely abused the jihad feature. I'm guilty.
Oh, yeah. Just like...
I'm sorry.
It's like the only sort of player that even plays these factions, basically.
Yeah. So, yeah, the criticism should be, or the advancement should be based around the AI, so we can get situations like what you just described, where a country or a group of countries will devolve into.
They have to taste their own medicine, like what the player is actually experiencing as well. So it's not like, oh, only the player has this negative modifier,
right?
And the AI are just cheating their ass out, just spam everything out, just meaningless armies.
Right. If there's a plague or something, the AI also has to be affected by that plague. Or if it's possible to run out of money and be in debt, the AI should be able to go into debt and have attrition take place and all that. Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, that's good. I agree. I think. Well, I do now.
And another thing I have to mention is, like, I'm not going to be one of those people who is like, oh, just make the AI really good.
Right.
The design itself is really getting in the way of the AI. You can make AI supercomputer, like, just do all of these moves, but the second someone finds a tactic, it's just all for nothing.
Right, yeah, it shouldn't... like I said when I was talking to Apollo, it needs to be able to combat what you do. You can't, because in my experience, everything from Medieval 2 onward, the moment I found a strategy that worked, it always works. And it shouldn't do that. When I play Medieval 1, it may just be me because I'm not good at the game or whatever, but when I play Medieval 1, I get a strategy and I think, okay, I can steamroll, and then the AI pulls something out of its ass that breaks my army, and it's surprising every time, and I don't know where that went. You know, the AI's ability to fight back against the onrushing tide of the player. So yeah, I agree with you. AI is important, and it's not just quote unquote improving AI. It's designing the game around what the AI is capable of doing, and ensuring what the AI is capable of doing will be fun and challenging. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
There's also the fun aspect that they're trying to push out, where it's just like they've basically went all out in this direction that beating the AI equals fun.
Yeah,
they released a blog post about it. It's so weird.
Oh, did they? Who? Yeah. Creative Assembly?
Yeah.
You'll have to send that to me, because that's really blackpilling if they're just like beating the AI is the most fun part about the game. No, it isn't.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I don't know where they would have gotten that. It's enjoyable if the gameplay is rewarding in losing or winning. You know, if you lose and it's a drastic hit against your plans or whatever, it forces you to adapt. That's fun. just winning constantly is not an enjoyable experience. Did you send it in the chat here?
Yeah, I'm trying to, but their website seems to be down. What the hell?
Did they finally give up?
Think so.
No, good.
The blog post was titled "How Total War AI is Evolving to Be More Fun."
Okay, right. Evolving.
Oh,
you mean how it blobs up into a single entity so you can spike it with a stupid spell?
Oh yeah, just
It's evolving. Yeah. It's evolving, guys. See, we were wrong the whole
big
time.
Damage. Isn't this fun?
Yeah. Don't you like your slop, monkey? Huh? Eat up. Gosh.
Wow.
What,
you can be on the edge of your seat against this blob, and just the player is cycle charging with their stupid cavalry just to get the number going up.
So exciting.
There's no reaction from the AI. Just look at the kill count go up.
Yeah.
Okay, eventually the units will break, which is I just like find it really funny when people say, okay, another tangent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, when people say like they want to see units break and have their morale be impactful, just install DVD et Impera. It's the funniest mod ever.
Edinburgh? Is it like a Nexus?
DEI for Rome 2.
Oh.
That mod, for whatever reason, they thought they were implementing chain routes, but I think they kind of missed the point of kind of making the player actually fight for these chain routes. So what they did instead was make the chain routes so easy. It's just like a cakewalk. There's your impactful morale. Goddamn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if the AI can just come back with a fully stacked army next turn anyway. So watch number go up. Intake serotonin done. Next please. It's like a gotcha machine or a slot machine. Okay, but moving on to the next topic here. I want to ask, in your response to Apollo's, it was the Total War Has Fallen video.
Yeah.
You claimed he missed the mark. What did you mean by that exactly?
Oh god, I'm having trouble remembering what I even said. What even was it about?
It was... Oh boy. I remember... Claim... Well, actually, you know what? No, I don't actually know, because that's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I wasn't sure what you were referring to at the time in terms of what mark he missed.
I think... Wait, hold on. So, first of all, I called him out on showing Medieval 2 footage. Like, according to the flowcharts, Total War has already regressed a lot. Has already... there's already these cancerous features, like just...
Yeah.
This modifier is right there. Nothing really that interesting is happening. There's maybe something that's still remaining there that's still actual battle simulation, but the rest is just some factor that's crunching through.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning the Medieval 2 footage, and it was right around that time. Was that what it was about? Just, having Medieval 2 be presented as an example of a good Total War game? Is that what it is?
If he's doomsaying about Total War, I'm already calling him out on showing Medieval 2. That I think was the point.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
I don't know if you also know. I'm about to drop a link. There we go.
I will state that I like Medieval 1. But Medieval 2 is
Total War Has Fallen way before that. I dropped the Rome Total War design document.
Okay.
It has all of the cancerous features in Rome 2 Attila. My theory is that some designer is we have to add this feature, just go till this game is out, okay, maybe in this game we will implement hedgerows, like horses jumping over fences. That was, for whatever reason, a really big thing in Empire. Units going into buildings, all that sort of stuff. This was technically in Rome 1, in like the year 2000. In this like design phase.
Yeah.
Then they also made this combat model about health and fatigue being damaged. It was kind of already like Rome 2. So
gotcha.
That's kind of awful.
Well, just to clarify, it wasn't necessarily any of the statements Apollo made in that video. It was just the examples that he gave. Okay. Well, so maybe we should take more care into what we use as an example for what we want to see in future Total War titles. Then, I mean that is something we should consider anyway, because a lot of these games were downgrades from what we'd gotten before in terms of gameplay and in terms of how you put design. So I think that's something we should definitely consider.
And basically, I think I made a point in the Shogun 1 video where basically we're showing these old games. Yes, that's one thing. They maybe had something going for them, but if we don't actually show exactly what we like about them or what was really good, like what's like in 2025 still praiseworthy, what should be implemented, not something like, oh, if they had this technology they would implement this. No, like actually what's still good, what we can take from these games.
And it would be easier to do that if we understood exactly what was happening too. That's a good point. I will have to consider that.
It's like time. So many times I've heard like Rome 1 quote unquote models shields, does this sort of thing. People have their own fantasies about the games, but no one actually bothers looking through the games at the lens of like, actually, if it was released today, just completely destroy the game. Just how anything works if something sticks.
Right.
Only then it's praiseworthy to me.
Pushing it to its absolute limit, seeing what can and can't be done, and if it holds up, then it's a good feature. But unless it does that, it probably shouldn't be heralded as some kind of staple in the franchise.
Or like just basically the entire game being lumped together as this masterpiece or something.
Okay. Yeah.
There's all these video essays of like, oh my god, Rome 1, my childhood dream, or like I was like Andy, age 7, playing Rome 1. Oh my god, the music and the main menu. What the fuck? Just install a mod at this point.
And that makes it a good game forever because the main menu was cool.
Yeah, Medieval 2 had gunpowder. Empire had this flag or something. Very cool. I don't care.
Which means it's a great game forever. No, I get what you mean. We shouldn't herald the entire game as gold just because there was a.
And then like even when Andy does praise something that's actually good, he like kind of misses the point as well. Like he praised the fucking flag engine in Empire, even though Medieval 2 already had the flags correspond to the wind. I don't know if you noticed this.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep track of everything stupid he does because he's pretty consistent in terms of trash takes. I don't even know what the hell the flag engine in Empire was revolutionary.
He made a review for Empire basically.
And
I don't know what he even tried to praise, but oh well, if he likes it, I don't really mind it. But it's just like so weird.
Such an ass. He's so gosh. I don't even know what point he's trying to make praising the flag engine. Okay, well we'll get to that cunt in a minute, but I want to ask you. Now you mentioned I think before we started recording. Hopefully that's going to make me look stupid. That Shogun 2 is guarded and praised as a.
Oh yeah, Medieval 2 has the same exact problem too.
Yeah, okay. So it's just that because I know Volan likes Shogun 2 and he usually uses that as an example, but you can as an example, excuse me. Volan usually uses Shogun 2 as an example for what makes a quality Total War game. And you you would take issue with that just because of how dysfunctional it actually is.
If it was actually polished, I would still take an issue with it because of the design. It's just so rock paper scissors heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Something interesting, like in Shogun 1, they also had pushbacks to some extent. You had the archers able to charge downhill, destroy stuff. Same with the single entity Kensai. It can also function really well, where the Arashigaru can surround the Kensai and will be like, that guy will be taken out eventually. Or he can keep charging downhill and it will just destroy like 4 units of Arashigaru, just chain route them instantly.
Is this Shogun 1?
Shogun 1, yeah.
Okay, and that's not possible in 2?
Yeah,
right.
And it's like already basically the foundation of what's already present in Empire, Rome 2, all that sort of stuff. It just doesn't have health, which Voland, at least to his credit, he just shat on the health, like it's just this big cancer, and I do kind of agree with that. It's this system that lacks so much feedback, it just feels like nothing is happening. You get like 1 kill when you charge in with shock cavalry. Nothing really happens. You have to do all of these cancerous things like just throw Pila, soften up units with charges, and then go in with your infantry. With Shogun 2, you just do a downhill charge, and then boom, you get all of the kills that you would have got in the Rome 2.
That is true. It's a little slidey too. You know, it's not a lot of weight, and I see Cav. You don't really have to be strategic with it. If you surround a unit with cavalry, you're gonna ruin that unit. And even, you know, like you mentioned, downhill charges just annihilate. You know,
which, like, I don't really mind that, but if there's no other systems other than you get this bonus for being on the high ground, then I don't find that really interesting.
Yeah, well, I think I you know, in Voland's defense, I think he used it as an example to, you know, badmouth the Warhammer games, because they don't have any of that kind of stuff in it. There's no height advantage. There's no.
There is technically high ground, but it just goes into like this damage bonus. You don't get extra chance to kill.
Right.
It just goes into bonus damage, which gets negated if the unit has high enough melee defense.
It's like stat stuff, right? And I think that was the point he was making. But I you know, I could be wrong. It's okay. Maybe you guys can talk about it. But yeah, I wanted to, because, you know, I like Voland. Well, hang on. I don't want you to, you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm here on his behalf or anything. I'm not doing that. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable talking about it. But you know, I do want to get these differences in opinions out so that they can be discussed. So, you know, don't be afraid to call people wrong or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's just like with Shogun 2, it just feels like I'm fighting this uphill battle.
Yeah,
but
well, we all are, man. It's gonna be uphill until we make it to the top.
And then, like, that's not to mention just all of these Rome 2 and Attila people who pretend that their games are any different from Warhammer.
Well, I you know, that would I would disagree with that. You know, I can when I play Warhammer as opposed to, you know, even a game like Shogun, I can feel a noticeable difference in the gameplay. When, you know, it's just when it comes to Warhammer, it's so stale. With Shogun 2, at least something unexpected can happen while I'm on the battlefield. In Warhammer, it's just, if your number's bigger than the enemy, you win. You know, it's got
this.
Sorry,
so, like, the biggest difference between Warhammer and Rome 2 and Attila is just like Rome 2 and Attila has all of these formations, which are like basically stats.
Oh yeah.
Warhammer added single entities, I guess, without really changing gameplay all that much.
Mm-hmm.
added all of these abilities, I guess. Rome 2 and Attila also had these conjuration type spell abilities, basically. Like in Attila, you have like destruction school where you have precision shot, like plus 50% damage to your arrows. What the fuck is that?
Oh hell, you're right. Oh no.
You're on your fucking boat, conjure up 10 arrows. Okay, cool.
Oh no.
The bomber unit, make ammo. Wanna know the funniest thing? In Attila, there's cavalry wedge. You would assume, like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, increase the charge speed, very cool.
Right,
increase the attack, all the expected stuff. Negative 100% missile block chance.
What? What is that? Why did they do that?
What the offensive ability, I guess.
Okay, yeah, no, that is stupid. I don't know. Maybe it's just been a minute and I haven't noticed those things. But you're right, when it, you know, like things like precision shot and you know, any other useless war cry or whatever, you know, stuff like that. What does that actually add to the situation outside of an arcadey buff?
Your units get exhausted. You get like this modifier, I guess.
Yeah. Oh no, that is lame. Oh no. You've shattered my ideology. What am I gonna do?
Oh my god, the spear wall. I can flank that unit, surely. No, the entire unit actually gets the bonus versus infantry.
No, even when they're not looking at the... like, facing
forward.
Oh,
with pike phalanx, it's even worse. The fucking swords get plus 20 against cav.
Great. Okay.
And then people are like, bro, look at this formation. And then I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, fantastic.
All I have to say to that guy is don't care, looks cool, and it's just like the same sort of mindset.
Right. No, and that is what it is, and that plagues us.
So I have to give credit to Shogun too, at least like when you have these abilities, like they're pretty decisive, the cooldowns are pretty long.
Right, yeah.
The AI seems to use them like rapid advance, fire arrows, pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree that with their fire arrows, they actually try to, they cause. Oh,
with Attila, it's like fucking
all the
your
time.
archers have like this arsenal of 4 fucking different types of arrows. Okay, yeah, cool.
Well, I don't know where.
Select fire arrow against cavalry.
Yeah.
Select heavy arrows against infantry. Okay,
right.
Gameplay.
Yeah, we'll put Call of Duty on the next title, I guess. And where are they carrying all these things around? They have 3 separate buckets for 3 separate ammo types. And they
share the same ammo pool. It just conjures up like a different type of arrowhead or something. I don't know what they're even doing.
Yeah, that's trash. Goodness gracious. Gosh, that's disappointing. So in your opinion, is the community, just to clarify, the community is sending the wrong message as to?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Pharaoh would not have happened.
You don't think so? I
People were like, bro, we need pushing, and then they're like, we're adding pushing from Rome 1, and then just like units moving back and forth. They were like, yo, is backstepping in Manor Lords? No, man, we have to take this shit from Arena, where just like, yeah, we just move the unit back and forth. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool, nice. Nothing really happens.
Right. It's a strictly visual thing. We need the minutia. We need the design of it, or the code of it. What made it do the thing that we liked, and what made it
just
do
a
the
lot
thing
more.
Initially.
A lot more parts need to be moving, especially if you're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
The unit needs to be considered if it's actually being pushed downhill, or if if something extra happens, like if units are being knocked back or knocked down. Arena, for example, had shield bashes, where you can like bash the fucking units off so you can disengage safely, or push even further into the unit, that sort of deal. But for whatever reason, knockbacks and knockdowns are like this invulnerability state where you can't really interact with the unit, so people are understandably upset, like nothing really can happen, even though there's a lot of systems that can be, like, they technically still exist, where you can implement trample damage, like units walking over the knocked down units can be damaged.
Mm-hmm.
The units can also, like, there's this ability where units can be attacked as they're knocked down. Even ResonantRTS just basically had it as a check where the unit's melee defense is disabled if it's knocked down, and it can't attack back, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
All this sort of stuff where, like, if you knock someone down, something should happen. That sort of mindset should be happening, rather than, like, just add this thing like tactical retreat. Like, okay, what else?
Right, you know, but how is that going to work? How is that going to affect the game, the gameplay, and the tactical aspect of that? So we need to be more specific when it comes to what we ask for. We need to be more technical, is what you're saying.
We also need to like brainstorm the ideas out rather than like, oh, this idea would be cool. Because that's how like mod tier sounds cool on paper, sort of ideas happen. That's how Rome 2 is in its current state.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm going to be adding this formation. Wow, +5 against infantry. Whoa.
Well, yeah, huge evolution there in terms of quality to the game. No, I get that, and that'll have to be even for me, as much of a pissant as I am about the purity of Total War games, I will have to incorporate that into my mode of thinking, because before I started watching your stuff, I never even considered that the actual framework and the coding and the design should be taken into account. And now that I say it out loud, I feel like an ass because that's
fine, because like people were thinking all sorts of bullshit things. When Rome 2 launched, people were assuming all sorts of things about Rome 1. Just take the stuff out, like the pushing and all this sort of stuff. People really did not understand anything, and I really take that for granted, because I was in that position as well. And
never again.
Like an ex-CA developer had to come out, and he straight up said that it's just like units walking into each other.
Right. Okay.
In Rome 1, and it's exactly what happens in Pharaoh.
Yeah. Well, we learn, and we will evolve.
There's been some people who have made some assumptions, and I guess like the biggest issue is like someone watching Reynolds Sanity. He, like, at least to his credit, he was pushing out a lot of ideas that people weren't really thinking about back then.
Who was this guy?
But then people were like, oh, he made this why Rome 2 failed and why Empire failed, like those videos.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I've seen those. What's his name again?
It should be Dr. Sane or Reynolds Sanity.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, okay. I've seen those in passing before. I don't know if I...
Yeah, basically, these ideas, even though like they're really revolutionary at the time, I don't really think that much has been added over the times.
To Rome 2?
No. Or like just how people perceive the older games, how really anything is perceived. Like, he is correct in the sense, like, yes, Rome 2's units are doing these auto-resolves, basically. But then showing how spearmen are pushing in, it's all this, like, preachy sort of stuff, where, apparently, like, there's this issue that did not exist in Rome 1, it was already really good, and units were, like, human-like, which is a genuine issue, like, they, that has to be addressed, because in Rome 2 the units accelerate at the exact same time. Nothing really happens. You can't really interact with formations when they're dissolved. A very simple trick that Medieval 1 did is if you order the units to run, the first rank will start to run, and that naturally dissolves the formation, and that enables you to interact with the pushback systems, and when the formation is dissolved, like spearmen aren't in formation till you wait for a while. Rome 1 tried to do something similar with the units reforming, but that's gonna haunt the developers for a very long time. There's a very specific bug that keeps happening in Warhammer 3, where the units reform at a specific point, and with range units in particular, they keep moving forwards, for example. If you give them an attack order, it's gonna horrible.
Yeah.
These random decisions way back in Rome 1 can haunt the games way later. So it's not just Empire, because like Empire was built off of Rome 1's battle code, and that's like if there are issues in Rome 1 that are left unaddressed, that's gonna carry on for a while.
Right. And they were known issues that that they knew about that they just didn't fix because
it feels like it was like the frog being boiled slowly, and the issues like guns not having reload animations or whatever in Warhammer 3 were, or like Warhammer 1, I don't know, all of the issues with projectile weapons, like that started in Rome 1. The units just don't consider line of sight basically entirely.
Oh, that's brutal.
I think they tried to address the line of sight in Fall of the Samurai, where the units would actually realize that they're firing into the ground. I don't know if you've played Empire or Napoleon, like if you're facing an opponent that's technically in range, but there's like this small hill in the way, the unit will just fire into the ground.
Hill, yeah, they will. They don't care.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, they will do that. That I did notice. That I do remember. I'll have to go back and play Medieval 1 and Rome 1. It's been a minute, but some of the things you're mentioning is sparking some neuron that holds that memory. So I'll have to look into that again. But good segue into the next topic. You don't believe that the way to dealing with these issues that still plague us today is a new engine.
I just don't know what the new engine is supposed to fix.
Right. Yeah, no,
there's the battle code, and that's like not gonna be affected by the engine.
Right.
I was asked this question: is there really an issue that's actually being like held back by the engine? And performance aside, I don't really know.
Yeah. My point is the new engine thing is a stupid point, right? We agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. As long as we can come together on that. I have never understood what that's supposed to fix. It has never been adequately explained to me in anything. I think Terminator. It was in your video, so it was Terminator who made that video. I watched that a long time ago, and I don't. At no point during his ramblings did I get a grasp on what exactly an engine change would fix.
It's gonna fix world hunger or something. New AI like Terminator, like from Skynet is gonna come out.
Yeah.
The fucking new engine, Total War 4 coming out.
Everything will be resolved. The thing where your units get stuck in the tower and don't come down, new engine will fix that. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Definitely.
I don't think so. I've never had that assumption.
You will actually feel each soldier dying. This sounds like some fucking IGN review or something.
Yeah, you really feel as the knife is driven into the soldier's neck. You really feel like a plebeian on the front lines of a medieval battle. I don't care about that. I want the game to be fun. I don't want to feel like anything. What I want to feel... I
will be all for it, but like I don't think that comes from a new engine.
No, it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And anybody who thinks it does is an idiot. It's straight up. It doesn't make any sense. I want to feel as if I didn't waste my money on a useless product. That's what I want to feel.
Shout outs to those who bought Thrones of Britannia.
Can I tell you a secret?
Oh my god. Did you pre-order it?
No. I did buy it.
Oh, okay. At least you didn't pre-order it.
No. I don't pre-order games. That's you don't. No, that's not normal. You shouldn't pre-order games. It's stupid. But I did.
I did learn my lesson. I used my first paycheck to pre-order Rome 2.
Oh, dude. How dare you?
Oh my god. Nah, lesson learned though.
Yeah,
for life.
Never again, right? Never again. I like Thrones of Britannia. I like that game.
Oh, it does have something going for it at least.
It's a bad game. I know it's not a good Total War game. it's significantly flawed in terms of not being Attila or Rome, you know. But I enjoy the logistical sides of it. I enjoy the
matching colors.
Yes. But no.
Oh, hell yeah.
I enjoy all the bright colors and the supply chain concept, the supply chain mechanic, where if you go into somebody else's territory, your army will lose supplies until it hits attrition. I like stuff like that.
That's a concept in Rome 1, by the way.
Is it what? Okay.
Back in the design document, they eventually got it in.
So it wasn't implemented into Rome 1.
Yeah, they also tried to implement baggage trains, which is why, like, if you remember back in Rome 2, where they had these stupid flags, that was supposed to be the baggage train that you're supposed to defend. Like, those are quote-unquote supplies that the army is supposed to defend. Like, those are the flags.
Yeah.
And they fucking patched them out because it was so shit.
It's trash. Why would that? Why would that even be a factor during a tactical situation? It's not. We're already in the battle. It might. Okay, it could matter in another way. It just shouldn't be an arcadey flag that has to be captured. Gosh, these guys get
this
paid.
Flag on the battlefield.
These guys get paid to make
someone got paid to fucking design this shit.
That's a shame. Oh, but
at least, like, I would understand that if it was like campaign sided, and in the design document it was supposed to be like a debuff to your supplies if you capture it,
right?
Rather than like instant death.
It could be something on the map where you can send.
No. Like in the battlefield, if you capture it away from the enemy, it will get debuffed.
Right.
The supplies will decrease slightly. That would be something I would understand.
Right. No, that would be understandable too. But I hear you. But what I'm saying, if it was on a trade route on the map or something, and you could send 1 or 2 units to go attack it and take it, and that would be a debuff or a minus 500 to the city's wheat, you know, something like that. I wouldn't mind it as much, but to just be, like you said, just to be a flag on the map, that's garbage. I bet that took them a long time to really, you know, implement that into the game.
No one within, like, I think 2 years of development, they thought that was an issue. Or to add anything to it, just like a flag on the map.
Yeah, you know, screw it. Making games is hard. Shouldn't have to spend that much time on this. But a big thing that I think me and you might go opposite ways on is, me personally, I feel like Creative Assembly doesn't do enough to improve the games as they are now. As I understand it, you argue that they're doing too much, and that the game should be simplified so that, you know, the things like the AI can work. The things like AI can more properly work within the game, and the tactical side of the gameplay can be focused on. Is that something you would agree with?
So for one, they keep adding these quote-unquote mechanics. That's like, basically, they're making so much while at the same time it's all of this meaningless fluff that only the player is really interacting with, and in a way it basically makes the campaigns really tedious for me. I don't know if it makes it tedious for others, but I found that to be very tedious for me. If, like, I'm only being this guy interacting with this mechanic. Yeah. Like some sort of what's the name? Collect these blueprints as Wissenland. Wow, cool. New units. Am I gonna be facing those units if that same faction is the AI? No. No, you're right. Probably, maybe I don't know if they're cheated in, probably, but that's like, I don't know if they're actually collecting these blueprints.
I mean, you know they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Another issue arose where Skaven have like these nukes apparently they only use them against the player because that's the only scenario where they're actually in a battle.
Right.
They cannot use them in auto results or anything. It's just 5 nukes stored against the player. Have fun with that.
Yeah. And your argument to fix that is to, maybe downgrade a little bit. You go back.
Not exactly, but like actually push the direction to actually having these things actually matter. I would be all for the AI actually trying to fight against each other, and then like one of them comes out on top, and they're actually being players on the campaign map rather than like, even though like they're pushovers, I can still at least feel like they're playing the same game as me.
Okay, so
that sort of deal.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily how big the game is, as long as the mechanics or the features that you are given are also being used by the AI simultaneously.
Yeah, just create a holistic experience.
Gotcha. Against
like,
you and each other.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I get that. What was it that made me think the op? So. Maybe you mentioned it as a way to make that happen.
It's basically like this design philosophy where if you make things simple, it's very simple to also connect these systems.
Right.
You don't have to rely on this sort of bullshit, quote unquote, mechanic. Or it's like some papal favor that you have to collect. Oh, become this pope, then you have to like collect the cardinals. How is the AI supposed to actually deal with any of that?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. If the AI.
One thing in Medieval 2, what do you think about the Crusades in that game?
I mean, I think they work as a mechanic to. Send you over to the Middle East.
The button works. That's
right.
the term.
yeah. No, exactly.
Holy shit! We're giving CA such a huge standard.
Yeah.
Like the button actually work.
Does it run?
No. Holy shit! That's an achievement.
Oh, gosh.
My favorite thing is to actually look at the Medieval 2 reviews, and whenever they mention Crusades, they always show the cutscene. And it's like, bro, look at this awesome cutscene.
Right,
they never explain anything about the Crusades.
Does it really do anything though? Yeah, no.
Is it actually fun, or does it add anything interesting? Because it's one thing to like capture Cairo or Vilnius or Jerusalem, and you get like this bonus money. But is there anything at stake?
Right.
My armies has no upkeep.
Right, and the only thing that really happens is that Egypt and the Turks get mad at you, and they come for you. But it doesn't divulge from anything that the game was doing already. Just gives
That's
you.
Not to mention that having the Pope as your own faction doesn't actually stop the Pope from excommunicating you.
Right. Yeah,
That's so fucking stupid. Why am I supposed to like make these cardinals to make my own Pope? I cannot even install a puppet pope.
No.
Like in Evil 1, you can make yourself permanently like be non-excommunicatable. I don't know if that's even a word. You can keep attacking other Christian states, and it would be like, nah, this pope supports me, and then like there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the papacy is trying to rebuild their forces to retake Rome, so that's something.
Yeah,
you can install your own puppet pope.
Even something like that would be more interesting, So I totally agree. I love Medieval 2. But it is an incredibly flawed game.
It just has so much that could have been improved upon, but apparently awesome cutscene.
Yeah, and that's the only
never speak up against Crusades because
No.
it has a cutscene.
It has a cutscene and the button works. That's all we need.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned something called Emergent.
Oh, yeah, another thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
About like the Crusade targets, they never explain anything, which is fine. Okay, cool. But in Medieval 1, you can bribe the Pope to like give you the target.
Is that real?
The Pope?
Yeah. No.
Can't be bribed to like give you the target that you want to attack. You don't have to go like through this checklist of targets.
No way.
It's so fucking
See,
stupid.
I've played...
And another thing, you can, as a Muslim faction or any other faction, you can attack the chapter house. You have to build a chapter house to build a crusade. You can demolish the chapter house and the crusade will turn into rebels. And that will also hit the influence. So, like, there's so many moving cogs in the system.
Yeah.
But in Medieval 2, it's like, oh, you won against the crusade, the army vanishes. Okay, cool.
Now you have the settlement. Oh, that's so lame. I never knew that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could destroy the chapter house and all the crusaders would rebel. That is so cool. Where did that go? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Here? So emergent gameplay. You mentioned that in your video, and you know I saw why are you laughing?
What if I mention another crusade thing? You can ask neutral or allied factions for your crusade to pass through their lands, which sounds like, okay, what the fuck? It's like military access. But then the faction's zeal will make it so that their armies go to your crusade. So you can absorb units into your crusade and walk through their lands. That's effectively how you can weaken any neighboring factions that you want to engage. Just make Christian factions go into this crusade.
What? I have never done that. I have never done that in that game.
In Medieval, it's just like random fucking, oh, Spain joins crusade against Vilnius, okay, cool.
Right, and it doesn't mean anything, and you never have to ask for permit. That's not even a feature in Medieval 2.
Oh, another thing. You don't have to wait for a fucking 15-turn cooldown.
Yeah.
Reconquista can fucking happen because the chapter house can assign a target to attack
at any time.
Any Muslim factions in Spain, or even Holy Roman Empire can go up against pagans. Why not?
Oh.
You can build your own chapter house and be a Teutonic knight there.
We had it so good. We've truly had it so good. Yeah, that's usually what I play anyway. The Holy Roman Empire. Fighting the Kievs, but I've never... I don't think I've ever walked through neighboring lands to get their units. Oh my gosh, that is such a good plan. All right, now I want to play the game. Let's get this over with so I can go back.
Legend had to torment himself with Warhammer 3 and trying to sell that game. I just described Crusades in Medieval 1.
Yeah, we'll get to him, but first I want to ask you about emergent gameplay, because you mentioned it in your video, and I read I read what they described it as. What is emergent gameplay as you see it? Like what would you consider to be emergent gameplay in Total War?
In a good or a bad way?
Let's start with a good way.
Okay, so I described it the pseudo formation in Rome 1, how it's trying to form into the pseudo. You can fire into the pseudo, and it will basically be like the unit is never into the pseudo, even though someone would be correct in assessing that the pseudo already has these stat modifiers, but the unit is vulnerable as it's trying to reform, unlike Three Kingdoms, where you just get missile block from the start. You can fire into the backs of units, it will still not really matter.
Right. So they would still take casualties even though their defenses are up.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, yeah. Just not in Three Kingdoms where it's a blanket buff.
Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, and that's an example as a negative for emergent gameplay.
It's both positive in Rome 1 and negative in Three Kingdoms. Then there's engage radius. That was one feature that I really miss in Rome 1. That is the one thing that, like in Rome 2, basically the units are staring at each other, but in Medieval 1, Rome 1, somewhat in Medieval 2, the units will attack in a radius, and what it does, when a unit is attempting to flank, the units will also attempt to turn around, and they're kind of human-like.
Yeah.
Even though the unit is doing absolutely fucking nothing, the unit seems more intelligent even though like it just has this radius around it.
Right. It's keeping track of the things around it, and if it's an enemy trying to flank it, it'll turn to fight it before it charges. Yeah. No.
Which is why I'm so against formations, because they really lock this behavior out. So something like phalanxes force units to turn and like always face forward. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, no,
I like abused the living shit out of that in Shogun 2, where units, they refuse to turn around, so you always get the plus 25 hitting in the rear with Yari Yashigaru.
Right.
So that's how you can defeat rank 9 Katana Samurai while walking uphill with, like, I think it was rank 5 Yari Yashigaru.
Just loop around them, because they're not going to turn and fight you.
Just sandwich them, like, why not?
Yeah.
That's how I played through a campaign. People call me disgusting for it. They won't even respond, which is like horrible.
Are you talking about like multiplayer? Is that they get upset?
Campaigns. They just like, and in multiplayer, I also just abused it. I just ran downhill, just destroyed someone's hopes and dreams.
People call
that was my last multiplayer battle.
That's crazy.
Oh god, they removed the chat.
They did do that. That's so sad. I can't believe. Like, we were just supposed to be. I guess we're just supposed to act like robots. I guess we're just supposed to play the campaign and not interact with one another.
Yeah.
It's so sad. But okay, that's a good segue into this. You mentioned the intelligence of individual units. I found that intriguing solely because I wasn't aware that concept was possible. When you say in the individual units, the intelligence of the individual unit, are you talking about the units of 120 men, or are you talking about this singular guy within it?
It works in both ways, where it's the unit having its own radius, and then there's a target range of the individual unit that's a little bit shorter, but it can also engage other units. It's way shorter for the individual unit, but
right.
As a whole, the unit can engage up to, I think, 4 units in Rome 1 at the same time. In Medieval 1, it also expands upon where units can charge individually. You don't have to give specific orders to charge. As long as you have the speed and the unit is attacking, then it will charge. That's also an emerging behavior. If you let units run, then when you are attacking, it will charge. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah. And you think that can just replace like formation buttons altogether if they are allowed to act independently in that regard?
I feel like there has to be some sort of behavior where if the unit is trying to brace for a charge, it would try to actually go into this pseudo formation. Like, the ready formation already kind of handled it, but with games like Shogun 2, it has Yari Wall that negates all of the charges from the front, but it doesn't if you're not in the Yari Wall. So what happens is, if you charge the unit, even though the animation is the exact same, they're holding the spears out in front, one of the units gets demolished, and the other just negates the charge bonus entirely and demolishes the cav. And I'm not talking in the way of like, Great Guard charges against Yari Ashigaru. It's just like in multiplayer sense as well. Like, you can just break the shit out of the Yari Ashigaru if they're not in Yari Wall. You can charge through the unit and it will ignore all of the behaviors.
And
I have to show the video clip actually.
Sure, yeah. But is that a bad thing? Because, you know, if it's not,
it's a very horrible thing. It's something that the AI cannot use at all. It's pretty much strictly human.
Okay, gotcha. So it should
charging units behind other units, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It just the hammer and anvil thing.
God.
The AI doesn't know how to combat that or do it.
It's not to mention, like, okay, like the AI is trying to flank as well, but it just takes one unit to guard the flanks and it will just attack that unit.
Yeah.
It just falls apart really badly.
It doesn't know how to do it properly. So yeah, maybe more focus on that. Definitely. Are you pulling something up?
I am pulling up the video clip.
Of the gotcha. Okay. How long is it? I might play it.
It's just like one charge, like a couple of seconds.
Okay. Oh.
I timestamped it.
Okay. I'll have to put it in editing because it's not letting me pull it up on Discord. But that's okay. But I think I understand what you mean. It's just. Oh wait, no. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm a boomer when it comes to this stuff.
Look at this Yaru Ashigaru closer. Look, they prepare.
Didn't just made it.
Oh my gosh!
So like,
and look at, like,
so
light
an
cavalry.
emerging behavior would be like the spears would still stop the cavalry, but because some guy was like, we have to stop the cavalry charges if you're selecting the exact unit. That's where it breaks, basically.
Right.
And it's just horrible.
Yeah, no, that sucked. Just completely annihilated both of those units. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, just light cav as well.
Is that light
Don't
cav?
forget to use that is light cav.
Oh my gosh, that's trash. They should be annihilated. They charged into spears. Like,
Yeah, but apparently, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I understand.
This happens in Napoleon as well.
It does happen
You
in
click
Napoleon.
a unit behind the square, and the square is basically ignored.
Yeah.
This sort of
crazy.
design is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you have to make these robust systems where, like, you don't have to actually click on the unit to actually get them to do whatever the designer wants to actually do.
Right.
Which is like preventing cavalry charges, but, you know, it just breaks really easily.
Oh, okay, I see. Alright, no, I was a little lost. No, I get it. He's charging the unit behind the spears.
Yeah.
Oh.
It completely breaks the behavior.
I have never done that in my life.
Everyone does that in Rome 1. It's all the Rome 1 multiplayer.
No
People
way.
are playing glorified bowling in a way. If you tell someone to go in wedge, like, you can ask someone to put cavalry in wedge, you can tell who's playing single player, who's playing multiplayer that way.
Yeah, no, because it doesn't matter. You can just rampage through because the game breaks. Because
with wedge, it's even more extreme, and people are fighting against urban cohorts in that game. Wedge is really important.
that is so sad. That's so sad. I've never tried that. I don't know what's more sad, the fact that exists, or the fact that I'm just now finding out that exists.
So, like, in Shogun and Medieval 1, the units instead charge the closest units, which is what the AI does as well. So, like, you're on even terms, basically, which is why it can feel really challenging to face the AI, because you don't have these tools to just demolish the units. Your cavalry would go all over the place if there's artillery or archers in a way, or just basically anyone. Like, not the entire unit is going to be snagged and then fight, but some of them might charge off somewhere else. And in that chaos, you have to control your units even more carefully, rather than, like, just trying to out-micro the AI, trying to cheese it, get a free rear charge or something. Or do stupid shit like just charging through multiple units at the same time.
Yeah, that's not interesting. It does nothing to aid the game.
It's boring, and I'm already bored by Rome 1. What do you expect me to be interested by in Warhammer 3?
Right.
A fucking spell?
Yeah, or a dragon. As Andy puts it, there's dragons breathing fire. And that's the interesting thing about those games.
Press the formation, and they changed the animation as well. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Epic. Yeah, remember when we had that in the first stupid ass game? I remember that.
God.
So
I have some forum posts from Shogun 1 days where they explained that, like, they had hold formation, and that already was, like, designed to be like Yari Wall in the sense where the spears are holding formation, and all of the rank bonuses and all that sort of stuff kick in, and it just makes much more sense than just you press the button, you get all of these bonuses.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that. There should still be variables involved.
To get my point across, like, if, like, you're trying to think of what I'm even talking about, the emergent behaviors, it's basically just holistic systems like that are like simple blocks that are built with interconnected parts that then has the potential to create other properties. Like if you charge in the rear of a unit trying to hold out, then it will be pushed out, and then that also starts a chain reaction where it might be squeezed in, and that also gives extra debuffs. Did you know Medieval 1 was the last game where you can squeeze units in and the unit will be actually debuffed?
No, I did not know that.
The Stirling Bridge in Medieval 1, that's a very good example, where you charge units into a, like, coming out of a bridge, but at the same time you charge downhill, the units get pushed back into the bridge, and then you have to fight for your units not be squeezed in as well. But then it's this back and forth that's infinitely more interesting.
Yeah, no, that is interesting, and you explained it really well there too. I like concepts like that. I like the tiny variables about combat. You know,
it shouldn't be like, oh, you got this big charge happening and okay, cool.
Right. No, everything else should add in as well. Are there rocks on the ground, or are they on a bridge, or in a corridor, or are they on a wall? Yeah, it shouldn't just be this overall mechanical buff or debuff that just blankets everything because, you know, one turned to a
Total
zero.
War Troy came out, a muddy terrain, a revolutionary feature. What does it do? 50% speed decrease? Okay, cool.
Yeah, trash. No, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see a number over the unit. So
like, I don't mind it if it's the underlying system, but there has to be something else happening to it, like
right.
The units, maybe some guy gets tripped up or something, or charges are like you can't truly charge in the mud. Even that would be more interesting. You cannot charge with units.
Can't charge, gets slowed down, can't hold his shield up, so he gets hit by an arrow and dies. Typically where he wouldn't. You know, something, right? Like something like that.
Yeah, at least like something. I don't mind the numbers existing, but like there has to be something existing at least.
Yeah. Me personally, I would have the numbers just completely removed. You know, I know, you know, games like Medieval 2, it had like, you know, 12 attack or 12 defense or whatever, but that was it.
Well, yeah, that still feeds into the simulation, but yeah,
right.
Can't really escape it. But like, there has to be all of these moving parts to not make it the central part of everything.
Exactly.
Which is what Rome 2 fails at spectacularly.
Exactly, yeah, and you know, in those older games, it was more of a reference. It was more of a reference for you to gauge where you could use the unit, rather than the defining factor of how well that unit's going to work. What's the word? Going to perform. How it's going to perform, like on the field. So yeah, I would remove that entirely, except for that, you know, the Medieval 2 style of telling you, you know, if the unit is actually any good or not, in terms that you can understand.
Oh yeah.
The next thing, I found this. I watched your video on. I forget which one it was, but it was one that you had linked in another video, and it was you put the code of I think it was Rome 1 code into ChatGPT, and it explained what that line of code is doing. That was genius. That is game changing, because if I can just have it spelled out for me, I'm going to be a menace to these people. Because that half of how they get away, Creative Assembly and Games Workshop, half of how they get away with the crap that they do is just by hoping you don't notice or you don't understand what's happening in front of you. So that's revolutionary, and I would like to see more stuff like that from you. If you put out a tutorial series about how you can find features that you want to find and then compare it to other features in other games by using the code and then plugging it into an AI to see how it actually works and all that. That I would watch every single one. I would study those like a professor at a college. That is so
that's exactly what that huge image I sent is about.
Yeah,
it interconnects all of these features. I didn't add morale. I already made a document about Rome 1's morale systems. It's not that different from Rome 2 and all of those games. It's just like how the interactions actually happen. If you nuke a unit in Rome 1, that's gonna happen way easier because the cavalry don't have to deal with knockdowns and knockbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The units get pulverized instantly. All of these penalties kick in. It's not just about like the percentage, like the relative percentage of the morale decreases, just like one thing. If people really wanted that, just install a bot. Why not? That would be fixed for them.
Right.
But with Rome 1 instead, there's a lot of issues with it, where missiles don't really have any say in how morale interacts unless like you're actually up close to the unit. But at the same time, you have all of these fear factors, not just from a unit that has this, like, a warrior monk, or I think it was Hexbearer in Rome 2, that has like this scare ability, just push a button and the unit suddenly becomes scary. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, what is that even simulating? It's just like a gimmick.
Yeah, it's RTW morale. I have this shit.
Yeah.
I can just like speed dial these links out.
You have them in a folder somewhere.
No, I can just like write them. Like I write the address of the file name, and it's just like right there.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to save this and look at it. But I'm serious. Like that. I feel, you know, I don't want to, you know, put you into a box, but I would watch that content every day, and it would be pertinent to how the community itself interacts with Creative Assembly when asking for you know, what they want out of a game, or even if we decide to just make our own game. You know, at that point,
yeah, definitely,
we will understand what's being implemented, and that is incredibly important. And that's why I believe you're incredibly important to this conversation that needs to be had. That blew my mind. It completely blew. I don't like AI. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. That thing is alive, and one day it's gonna find a way to get out of whatever containment unit it's in, and it's gonna get violent with people. I don't trust it. I don't like it.
God forbid it's gonna make a new Total War engine and it's gonna steal the
yeah.
AI in that fucking game.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I don't.
Said no one ever.
I don't want that. I don't like AI at all. But what you did with I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even know you could put... I didn't realize that you could use AI to explain code to you. You've opened up a new avenue for me to be an asshole to these people, and I'm really excited about it and grateful for it, so thank you. Do more of that, please.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm genuinely excited.
There's so many of these smaller features I've tried to... Basically, in other community servers, I'm dropping these fun facts about like the most random, like Rome 1, Medieval 2 stuff that happens that I just find in the code. And sometimes it's really cool, like in the map in Rhode Island, but that's a state, and Rhodes, like the Colossus of Rhodes, that map.
Oh, yeah,
you can spot not just the Colossus of Rhodes. That wonder in the battle map, but the Helicarnassus, like that wonder, and then one more, like way in the distance. Yep. So basically, what Rome 1 also did is its procedural generation is really accurate. It's like
interesting.
Trying to generate a map of like 20 kilometers around and I think the playable area was 1.7 kilometers squared, and that area around is really detailed, where there's like rivers on the mountains, there's settlements all over the place. It just makes the map feel really lived in.
Right.
And it's something that I think games have really started to miss out on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, the new Warhammers, they just have a list of maps.
They had this one stupid map with like a statue in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Across like half the Empire's maps or something. Oh,
it's the same battlefield everywhere, and it's such a shame.
Like, I don't mind it if the AI would actually use all of these terrain features, but they're just so featureless. The AI doesn't really use anything. They attack the player anyway.
Mm-hmm. They just charge, and if they have spells, they'll use them. If they have artillery or whatever, they'll shoot at you, but they won't do anything interesting with it. And it's a shame, because that game, well, I say game, it is one game, but they sell it as 3 different games. It could have been good. It could have been the thing that all these Warhammer heads say it is, but it's just not, because I guess that procedurally generated map that accurately portrayed the world that you were fighting in just took too much time and money, and the people who just got hired won't be here this summer, so we got to hurry up and push it out quickly. Thanks.
Wow.
It's trash. It's sad. But yeah, no. That kind of stuff is incredibly interesting to me, and it's vital to getting games that we want to play. Even if Creative Assembly doesn't want to listen to us, we can just say, okay, well, we'll make our own, and we'll know how to do it. People will be knowledgeable, even the people who aren't making the game.
One of the more missed out aspects is like whenever someone is actually inspired to make a project that is Total War related. I'm seeing, I hope it's not a tragedy in the making, but there's this project Renaissance.
Yeah.
That's this Medieval 2 spiritual successor. It's trying to capture the spirit of it, but it just feels like they're trying to make some sort of version of it that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very worried about it.
It feels like some of the features that... No, it's fine. It feels like some of the features that they think is really important in Medieval 2 are going to be brought in. It feels like recruitment pool, we have to bring that in, population, okay, cool, but then if you add population, but then you don't even have any systems that interact with the population, then what are you even doing? It's just like a number that goes up.
Right. No, yeah, we have to remember to integrate it into the world of the game as well. And if you're, you're listening, Renaissance, what's his name? Rampart. You gotta talk to people like Dolfy, because he knows what he's doing.
I'm in his server, but
oh, you are?
I'm just watching the project discussions. Yeah.
Oh, you should yell at him.
I'm just no, like they're doing their best. It's fine. It's just like a word of caution. It just takes a very long time to get things going.
Yeah, and it looks good, but most things do until you get your hands on.
Godspeed to them.
Yeah.
It's just like understanding these small systems in Medieval 2 and really fly across, and like trying to chase after that field. You might implement something that is completely missing the point, or just, I don't know, maybe doing a very subpar job at it because like it had this one small feature in it that made it special.
So our message to him: keep it simple. Don't implement too many things just because it looks cool. Make everything interact with one another.
It's fine, but like,
no, it's not.
I would be glad if there is something coming out, because like I've had chats with people that delve into these open source projects, and getting even one project out is such a hassle. It's
a nightmare.
Really tragic, yeah.
It's a nightmare. But I know we'll get one day. Either by grace or by force, we'll get one.
Yeah, they need a lot more people working on it.
That is true. And by the way,
yeah. But I do believe some that when they get their demo out, there might be some serious momentum going for.
Yeah, I will shill the hell out of that. I will shill it. I will shill it for free. I don't care. But Rampart, I do. We want to support you, even though I sent you my voiceover clips and you didn't get back to me. I still support you. So anyway, I applied for a job and he never got back to me, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not even mad about it. I don't even remember. But something else I did want to talk to you about was your attitude towards the modding community. Are you weary of them, or is it more just how they're used as a marketing tool for grifters like Andy?
Oh yeah, definitely. I really hate that they're used as marketing tools. Like, oh shit, modders created Medieval 3. What the hell?
Yeah. They
better than CA? What?
Yeah.
C just fixed what?
Yeah, without actually
they implement ladders. Oh my god.
Without actually,
C just fixed.
No, yeah, no. C just fixed because there's ladders in it.
Okay. For one, I support modders and what they do. Like, God bless them.
Right.
They have to deal with insane limitations, but they're trying to come out with very shallow level changes.
Right. Yeah.
They're dealing with databases that anyone can really tamper with, but Creative Assembly have all of the tools, all of the source code to implement anything new. But the modders they're at the mercy of whatever's available to them.
Mm-hmm. They try.
So I'm not against that, but I don't know. I'm kind of against all of the modding people who are putting out these descriptions of like, we have improved the battle AI or something, even though there's not really any support for that.
So you think it's a little disingenuous?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And that's how Dart mod. I have nothing that much against Dart mod, but just like the descriptions of the mods are a little bit over the top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They don't really track with the actual gameplay that's taking place.
Yeah, and people really bought it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are worse things, but they should definitely curb that. Just make what you want.
Yeah, it's a very bad habit. Yeah.
Yeah, make what you want. Don't try to sell me something. I like I've said before, modders.
The screenshots are fine, but descriptions should be
honest,
at least down to earth.
Yeah. Realistic at the very least. And, nothing against the modding community. We love the modding community. These games wouldn't be alive without the modding community. But chill. it's okay. We don't need to find ways to. We don't need to advertise as if we're trying to replace the original games, even though your code is based off the original game. It's fine. We still love you anyway.
What I don't love is someone taking the same mods and being like, brilliant new features, brilliant new AI coming out.
Like in the description.
Just basically reading the description that this modder just read like 5 history books to get one button. God damn.
Yeah, no, that's gotta chill. I suppose there's a huge,
There's like, I don't mind if mods are given a shout out, but I don't really think that's the way. Like, you can show all of the units and the viewer has to actually look at them rather than being like, oh, there's this historically accurate campaign. Okay, what does that mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I got you. It's not the game changer. It's just fun. It's a new flavor. It's a new flavor of what we've done before. And that's okay. That's okay. We're not asking you to innovate on the code that's already there, or whatever. We're not asking you to change the game for the better. That's fine. That's not a standard that anybody upholds these people to.
Yeah, that would be way too much.
Yeah,
that's like actual slave labor.
It's absurd. Yeah, no. But it is interesting that these people do things that Creative Assembly charges $15 a pop for. for free. So, you know, in that regard, you know, much love to the modding community. But yeah, no, I got
at least something. If I had to shield for the Warhammer modders, they're actually pulling out work. That's
yeah,
they're making custom legendary lords, and some of them look really cool.
No, that like Fenris, the SFO, was it Fenris? I don't know. Those might be two different ones. The SFO one, that stuff was crazy. It was so crazy that Games Workshop went to Creative Assembly and told them to shut it down.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, they said.
I'm really concerned about the Nagash mod. That's like actually sick.
Is it? I don't. I haven't played those
it looks sick.
But
goddamn.
I like Nagash. I think that whole area of lore is really cool. And
I was following some of the people who played it, and they showed what they experienced, and they look really good.
I haven't played either of those games. I haven't played any of those games in 10 years.
Oh.
I've been meaning to get a refund for them. But I'm still plotting how I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna go to CA about it or Steam. I might just do Steam. But no, when I did play it, I played SFO, and that's the only reason I remember, because they mentioned Games Workshop kind of tightening the noose around the Warhammer 2 era, because SFO added the demon factions into the game, and I think it's pretty cut and print that Games Workshop was like, if these people figure out that all we're doing is changing a skin, our business model is screwed, so you need to shut this down immediately. And they got marching orders from Creative Assembly to like chill on it, which was insulting.
Oh yeah.
On the subject of mods, Jack Lusted, we talked about him a little bit in DMs, but I want to talk about him on the recording. Jack Lusted, he was involved with the creation of, or what was it? He was in Medieval 2. What did he do?
He was just sitting in the forums in Medieval 2 days. He got in Creative Assembly by Empire, but back in Rome 1 and Medieval 2, he made, I think it was like the Last Road or Lance to Conquer mod. Yeah, Lance to Conquer, and the same mod in Latin for Rome 1. I'm not gonna pronounce that.
Oh, it's fine. But he got in there and was responsible for the lacklusterness of Medieval 2 in some aspects, wasn't he?
Well, he was the admin of TW Center, or like one of the admins. I don't know how it actually worked, but he eventually worked up into getting a position in Creative Assembly by Total War Empire.
Right. Oh, so he was Empire then? Is that what it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got that wrong then. My bad.
By Rome 2, he got into like lead battle designer or something, and by Thrones of Britannia, he was the project lead of that game.
Is he still there?
I just don't know. People mentioned that he existed in 3K credits or something.
Weird.
In another server, people know how much beef I have with this guy, and they just mention, like, someone mentions his name, they instantly fucking let me know.
There he is.
This guy worked on 3 Kingdoms. You have to mention that.
Yeah, no, that's trash.
Maybe that's why the game's shit.
But probably, yeah. Plus a number of other things. But yeah, I just wanted to mention him because you mentioned him, and I feel like it's important to name names when it comes to
it's like not the silver bullet to like, oh, we have to hire the modders that will fix the series. It's like this guy was more about the sort of ideas that go into mods, like historically accurate units.
Mm-hmm.
That's like obviously extra flavor that's always welcome, but like it's not supposed to be the absolute focus. Like in Rome 2, who cares if the units are more historically accurate than in Rome 1?
Right. It's not the saving grace.
Or Thrones of Britannia, like if Vikings have socks or not, that's not going to save Thrones of Britannia, okay?
We have to get the socks. Bro, go. That's what's gonna save
Top
it.
priority. Adjust the buttons on Napoleon Total Warrior. That's like if one button is off, that's like negative 5,000 sales or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the logic.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not. Modding is not the saving grace. It's not. Things aren't going to change.
It can enhance the same game, but like if you try to focus on like some sort of weird things that like no one's gonna care about if they zoom out, then like what's the point?
Right.
The game has to come first.
Right. Yeah. No.
The mods can actually take care of all of the historical inaccuracies if you really want that.
Yeah, we can rely on us to do that on the modding community to do all that, but we have to hold the studio accountable for ensuring that the game is of quality. So when the mods do come, the game's still fun, and also we get an extra flavor to what we've already experienced. So yeah, totally. I just wanted to mention that because that's a huge point. We can't rely. It's going to take more than relying on modders to fix these games. If that wasn't painfully,
there has to be like a fundamental shift in actually how we think about the games.
Right. Yeah. No, and we can't be advertising these things as if they've fixed the franchise, Andy, because it like looks cool or whatever.
Or like even suggesting new ideas, like again with Andy and these stupid fucking paradox mechanics. Please just go away at this point.
Yeah.
No one cares.
He might have. I haven't seen him in a minute. He might have.
He's like busy with life or something. If you thought that he's gone after that response video, no, he's just busy.
Well, I didn't think he was gone, but I was wondering.
It's been 3 months since his last upload.
Yeah, his last upload being a total shill to the Civ 7 team.
Oh my god. Fucking game. It was so obvious who is shilling for the game, who is not.
It was so obvious. And I actually got some opinions. I went to Steam and I asked the people on Steam, what makes this game bad? Or what makes this game like a weak installment? And I got like 150 replies about how the UI sucked and how features that were supposed to be in it were taken out, and how it was a disappointment from what we've had before. And Andy's just on the YouTube going, it's actually good. It's actually great. Oh man,
it looks amazing.
I got paid for this. Yeah. And people in his comments were like, "You're nobody likes this game, and this is a sponsored video. Like, who are you fooling? Pathetic, disgusting."
At least he wasn't hiding that it was a sponsored video.
He wasn't hiding.
Yeah, like it's in a description that he's actually sponsored.
Oh yeah. Oh well, thanks. Thanks for letting us know.
Wow.
Like it wasn't obvious.
Well, we can skip the video instantly then.
Yeah, yeah. We can move on to the next one because nothing about it.
That's also probably sponsored. Goddamn.
Right, and it's because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't actually care about this stuff. He's just like, whatever makes me money at this point in time.
With some of the videos, yeah, like if he gets a sponsorship deal, he'll just make these soulless videos and
yeah. Legend got the opportunity to make something for Civ 7 too, and he didn't even touch it. But here goes Andy head first into the anus of iniquity. Gosh, he sucks. Terminator does the same. Well, I don't know.
Terminator did promise that he's not going to take any sponsorships, but he made a Medieval 1 video that's sponsored by CA, so there goes that promise.
When was that? Was that a long time ago or recently?
A long time ago.
A long time ago? Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to take a sponsored video for any game, it might as well be Medieval 1.
It was during the 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Well, at least he hasn't come out and said something like, it's ugly and unwielding. It's ugly and unwielding, so it's not.
No, but you would think that he actually reviews the game or made a video that's actually celebrating Medieval 1. It very quickly turned into like Medieval 2, how we should be having Medieval 3.
Good.
What the fuck? It quickly turned into this like, medieval setting, so good.
That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, that's my biggest disappointment.
I don't know. He's been a disappointment all around the board. Terminator. I was really
Yeah.
he was, when I was just starting out, he was like kind of nice to me, so I've had a soft spot for him for a minute. Not anymore. I'm coming for your ass. I'm tired of listening to your lukewarm takes about what CA needs to do to change, and you know, when Total War falls, it'll be because Creative Assembly shuts down as a studio, as if that's the conversation we're having. It's just screw off, man. It gets so frustrating.
Wow.
It's so frustrating to listen to these people just like handbag a company that has repeatedly reminded them that they don't care about them and they hate them. Ugh.
Imagine telling that to someone like another franchise like Battlefield 2042 comes out and it's like, no man, DICE is still around, just don't worry, man.
No. Yeah, no, it doesn't happen anywhere else.
This would be so absurd in any other series.
Else. Oh my gosh, I don't understand how we've become trapped in like this weird paradoxical situation where we're the only people dealing with this crap. I've never been involved in a situation where we as a community have been cucked by a completely different fan base that didn't even know that these games existed until 7 years ago. And then you have people like Terminator and Andy and Resonant guarding that decision as if it had any merit to happen to begin with. It's so sad. Speaking of Resonant, I saw he managed to escape me a little bit because he's like not doing Total War content anymore. I think after his Pharaoh videos, I think he quit because people got mad at him for being a jackass. But he's like doing music now. I think he's pursuing music. I saw one thing of that, and he's pretty good.
Oh damn.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, he's pretty good. You know, so, you know, if you're gonna do it, Resonant, you know, do it. I wish you good fortune. You're pretty good, but if you come back into my sphere again, I'm gonna be on you really fast. But
Pharaoh better not release an update.
Yeah.
This is more of a warning towards developers. Just like, don't release an update for these historical titles.
There will be casualties on your part. There will be what is it when you don't mean to take somebody out? It's collateral damage. So it's on you, CA. It's on you. But you know, coming from the shills and the grifters, what is your opinion on the community as a whole? Like, what is your take on the state of, you know, the quote unquote community or the fan base or the consumer base currently?
It's just really depressing.
It's depressing? Oh.
God damn.
So...
It's like, this guy's playing this old game, okay, cool, he's having his fun, but then like he's doomsaying about how Total War is dead, how apparently everyone is fired, no one's creating games these days. Which, like, I guess I can understand them if they saw Rome 2 and it's just like that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
By the way, like, when I talk about Rome 2, I'm talking about the latest patch. I'm not one of those people who is, like, holding Rome 2 hostage because of this launch. The latest patch, Rome 2, fucking Christ, nothing's changed, really.
I don't even play. I remember the launch. I am gonna be that guy. I remember the launch and I never touched it. I remember how it released and then it like came out with 5 different DLCs and I didn't touch it. But yeah, put that way in terms of like the community and just old guy talking about an old game that came out 20 years ago. and just
and when you try to sit down and talk to them, like trying to actually understand what they like about the game, so it's just like, the combat's really amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, but see that, you know.
And then they make some random shit up about like physics in Rome 1. Okay.
Well, what?
Brother, I read the code. I don't need that explained to me.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I do miss when people would fall off the walls, though. That was cool. I assume that had something
definitely.
to do. I assume that had something to do with physics, but you know, I don't know. Again,
And it was just like it was just like an obstacle check. Like if units are on the walls, they'll fall off.
It's like a simulation of physics rather than actual physics.
And it's just like a behavior if you're like on a bridge or on a wall, the units tend to fall off.
Right. Well, yeah.
This happens in Rome too as well, but it happens in the wrong way, where there's like a hole in the wall, and if you run with the units, they'll just fall off the wall.
What the hell? Why?
I saw that in like a Rome 2 tips video, and someone made it like if the wall is slightly damaged, walk your units across it, but it was because like there's like a hole in the wall, but units ignore that if they run.
Oh, gosh, that's embarrassing.
But like it's not even natural looking. It's just like units falling in the line like lemmings. Well, that's a nice tip, though.
Like off a cliff. That's just so sad.
Oh yeah.
But well, that's why the physics argument and all these things. I think all of these syndromes, like where we get into a place and are just upset about concepts and mechanics that may have not even actually existed, comes from us not talking to one another. And that's what I hope, and what I hope other people want to resolve right now, so we can adequately discuss these things without there being any confusion. And I remember you saying that you didn't want in your response to my last video. I remember you saying that you don't want it to be like an us versus them situation. Were you talking about?
Oh yeah, definitely. This was more about Rome 2 and Attila players being like, oh, we're so different versus Warhammer, even though like it's already like the same game basically.
Right. Yeah, and I mean for the most part.
Yeah, it just turns into this like, oh, we just need to change the setting into historical, and surely Total War will be back, even though Pharaoh came out like, hello.
Yeah, no, that's not what's going to happen, and that's the message I really want to push too, is that it's not a matter of setting. Although I do think that the way that if Creative Assembly is going to turn themselves around, it would be with a historical title, but that would not be the deciding factor of whether or not they succeed at making a good video game. The setting is not going to be what entices that to happen. But yeah, no, you're right. When it comes to Rome and Attila and Warhammer players, there can't be like this infighting. When the time comes,
like a lot of double standards are happening.
Right, and that's something I forgot to mention. The special pleading kind of thing. We need to hold everything we are discussing to the same standards. Which is a huge reason why I wanted to talk to you, is because I
just don't give a shit about that. If a game is broken like Rome 1, I'll just hold it to 2025 standards. I'm not gonna think about nostalgia.
Right, and I think most of us, Apollo and Volan, feel the same way. But it's hard to do that within like a mass group of people who have they all have their favorites, and the stuff just needs to get worked out, and we need to have a blanket set of standards. I want there to be peace eventually. I want to start with the Total War community specifically. The Warhammer people will have to be inducted eventually, but right now I want blood, so I'm not gonna placate in any kind of truce with those people. Not yet.
The one credit I would give to Warhammer people is at least like they know what game they're playing. They're at least like talking about like some sort of bugs that are happening. They're actually calling the CA out to actually fix something, or even if they're playing their game, they're just collecting these items. It's like they're at least knowing what game they're playing, rather than like this Attila player being like, oh, shield wall, holy shit, screenshot, look, this amazing game.
Oh, damn.
Gritty atmosphere in my game, holy shit.
That's a hot take. I wouldn't, I'd have to look into that a bit more. I've always found...
Oh my god.
always...
AndysTake, I looked at his achievement history, and it's like he barely fucking plays the games, but he's like, you command as this Western Roman Emperor and Attila.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Play this ultimate fucking campaign where you hold on to every settlement, but like, have you actually played that campaign?
You're right, and that's the second half of the point I'm trying to make. Those people we should, like, you know, talk smack to. You know, they are purposefully and knowingly gating any kind of progress. So if we are going to, you know, be locked in some kind of intellectual battle with anybody, it should be people like Andy. In terms of the us versus them mentality, it's not you know, the Rome versus Attila people. It's the people who care and the people who don't. And I would consider Andy as somebody who does not, and I would see him expunged. And not to say that you know, he I don't want him to make money or whatever. You know, I don't want anything. I don't want his life to be destroyed. I'm not saying that, but you know, he does need to shut the hell up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Wait,
he could make more reasonable videos. That's all I'm asking, basically.
And he could do
rather
that.
than like, oh, like Andy releases a video like the secret sauce to Total War, and I'm like, okay, cool. What does this guy like about the games? And they're just like, it's gunpowder. Okay.
Okay.
Why do you like Rome Total War then?
Wow. Because they paid me.
Does Rome have gunpowder?
No.
Like, I don't know what he likes about the games. He's like, this is honestly why you miss Total War these days. And it's just like, your start position is like a couple of provinces, okay?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't like the games, and if he does a very poor job of presenting that he does. He barely knows anything about the topics he talks about. I think he just does it for money. I mean, he's free to you know, try to.
He worked as a reviewer, so maybe that's why. But at the start, he did sort of have decent topics that he talked about, but then it turned into this like I have to shield Total War with these random topics that don't bring anything to the table.
Yeah, that's what makes him money. It doesn't make him money to be controversial. What makes him money is grifting off of people who trust him, and you know, if they buy his schlock, then he's happy at the end of the day. Who cares what it negatively affects in the long run? Worthless. Which brings me to my next topic. What's your opinion on Legend?
I'm kind of on the same boat as him. When he was trying to sell Warhammer, I'm kind of on the same page where he's destroying the games. He enjoys that. I usually post screenshots or videos of the games breaking. I really enjoy that, but I don't necessarily... It's really hard to explain that.
Well, now we know who
really
Legend's audience is.
Like, I come from a Total War arena where it's just like the most broken game in existence. It just tops Warhammer, and Warhammer had to borrow stuff from arena, so that's how bad it is. Right. So people kept abusing the shit out of that game, and that's a lot of entertainment for me.
Okay.
But if I really had to sell the game, if it's good or no, then it's my sort of entertainment that I don't think really anyone else can find enjoyment in.
Right. You know,
that's
that's all fine. You know, you can enjoy a thing. That's not a problem. But I mean, I think we can all agree that the Warhammer games are not good, and they don't represent a good big business practice on Creative Assembly's part. when it comes to dealing with the people who actually support them. So would you say that Legend defending these actions is kind of disingenuous to, you know, the kind of things that he said before about wanting things to improve? Would you say that it's kind of disingenuous to say that and then put out a video the next day talking about doom stacks in Warhammer?
Yeah, like, I definitely do notice an issue with Legend where maybe, like, to a fault of his own, he's really afraid to give out opinions in a way. When he does have strong opinions, he would make a dedicated video about it, like with the player traps video. That's a really good video, and it feels like it was festering in his mind for basically since Rome 2 came out and its campaign building system.
Yeah.
So that when he has strong opinions and he holds on to them, that's when he can really shine. But when he has conflicting ideas, Reddit would be like, "Oh, he said this like half a decade ago, and Legend's such a liar. Oh my god, what is wrong with him? I thought he liked Warhammer. What is this guy talking about now?"
Yeah, well,
but,
you know,
yeah.
it's okay if he likes the stuff. That's fine. But I have my own.
But it's like very complicated where Creative Assembly are taking the feedback, and sometimes they do fix stuff, but sometimes they also go back and break even more stuff. Yeah. Which like is more entertainment for Legend. Like if they make this really dumb decision to make these ambush battles where the army has this spot where they can retreat to, they forgot to make a check where the AI really shouldn't be retreating, because if they do, and if they're in force march, the army kills itself. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and you know, stuff like that. Like, you can enjoy that all day long. You know, it's fine. I have my own theory, you know, coming off of the conversation that he had with Apollo and Voland. I have my own theories as to why he was so wishy-washy in that conversation. Well, not even wish. I don't even know how to describe it. He was like he wanted to state an opinion without having to state it.
Like I think he came across that the answer is going to be a lot more nuanced in a way.
Yeah,
and that's gonna create a situation where he has to think about this thing, and then like, oh shit, if I just do a definite yes and I miss out on these details, yeah, I can definitely. I have that for me.
I think Apollo had him pegged in the beginning. I think he's afraid of his audience, and if he just straight up comes out and says like, yeah, these games are bad, but I play them because they make me money, like that, it's going to, his audience will turn on him, and he's not going to be able to...
I don't really think that's too bad, because like Reddit is already trying to come up with all sorts of lies. It's really horrible already. At least if he's being honest, then Reddit should know their place.
Yeah, I don't think he is. I think he's purposefully being deceitful. But what?
But fucking Reddit is like, this random guy's like cooking up all this sort of shit. Like, I feel so sorry for these people.
It's not. You know, it's not liable. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying, you know, that's what it looks like to me from somebody who just came in from. If I was looking from the outside, I would say he's bought. But
no, these people are like, I don't fucking know what sort of beliefs are in their mind. They would post this shit, maybe get one upvote, and that's it.
On you talking about Reddit? Yeah. What is
yeah.
Reddit? Is Reddit talking about Legend? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, all these content creators, they're having these ideas. Basically, people still believe that Voland's favorite game is Shogun 2, even though he hasn't stated that.
Yeah.
He just likes the game, but it's not his favorite like masterpiece or something.
Right.
Simple ideas like that just doesn't come across to Reddit.
Well, Reddit is a cesspit filled with brainlets, and we can, one day we'll broach that subject, but for now we have to let them like fester in their own cesspool, until we can actually do something about that, we have to figure out what's going on here first.
And that's where basically a lot of the whenever someone is suggesting something, it's very dangerous to be like suggesting ideas. This comes back to describing what's good about the older games. Like if you describe having ladders in siege battles, Reddit is gonna be like, bro, please bring him back, and like nothing else happens.
Yeah, no.
It's so stupid. Like no one is thinking.
No. Well, you're not. You know, it's not really the main.
There are some very precious people who are actually thinking about the game, but it's just like, fix the gate bug. Okay, what is the gate bug? To like anyone who doesn't know, just fix the gate bug. Okay,
right.
Cool.
Describe it. Explain what it does. Yeah, for real. And that's why
how does it bother you?
How does it affect you personally? That's why we have to be better. We have to learn all of the minutia and the technicalities of these things. And I really appreciate you coming on here and.
My favorite thing, when Reddit complains about one thing, like there was, I think it was Nakai, this one legendary lord not able to recruit Croxigors. Reddit was like, bro, please fix this. And they were like on this crusade that CA should fix this, and CA finally fixed it, and it was like Reddit won. And then like, I'm thinking, are there any other issues they're gonna bring up? Anything new? But Reddit is like, yo, bro, we won. The game is fixed.
Yeah, it still costs $700 to own, but there are Croxicores in it now.
God,
pathetic.
This is so stupid.
Yeah, no, it's
like yes, it should be celebrated that they fixed something, but it shouldn't be like the end of everything.
No.
Maybe there should be some standards to what's being fixed.
But see that if they had the understanding of what's actually wrong with the game, that might actually be a positive. But no, they're just like fix the slop that we have so that we like it better. It's a nightmare. So we have to be better. One day, I think one day we can induct Reddit into the fold, but not yet. We have to deal with we have to deal with our own issues first. We have to deal with people like Andy and Terminator and Heir of Carthage and Lionheart. Just make them stop spewing nonsense. But I've already taken up 2 hours of your time, man. Is there anything?
Fine.
Is there anything you want to bring up or say?
Just keep up the good work. It's actually very refreshing to actually have someone new come to the community. And basically, what I've been dealing with constantly is like this fucking guy being like, CA is dead, fucking this game is horrible, they ignored the community entirely. Maybe in some Discord server someone's talking about how AndysTake released this video and it's just no one's really called out for it. Right. The community has to be responsible for what they say, and if there is something horrible happening, it shouldn't just be the latest game and then people go back to their old games pretending like nothing could be taken from them, or just then pretending that we should be just learning from them for like somehow. And just in general, just keeping up the conversation is so much important. Like that is so important.
Yeah, I agree, and I appreciate your support and everything you've done for the community so far. Like I said, that code video with the ChatGPT, that's life changing. That's going to be a game changer, and I would love to see more content on your end about that.
I'll be releasing that video with that large image explaining how the games have regressed in like a very severe way. Yeah. Spoiler warning, basically we're just going into hit chance, like this feature going to formation or useless ability, your hit chance changes, your units get fatigued, your hit chance changes, you can kind of understand.
Yeah, but all that's important though, all that is important to understand instead of just imagining a fantasy mechanic that never really existed.
And another thing, like continuing the discussions is so much more important because people who discuss Total War, they link the critique videos, which is fine, but then if you don't keep producing the critique videos, if you don't keep up the conversation, then people will basically just keep posting videos from 2018 or 2012 if you're one of those people who link Reynolds Sanity's videos.
Right, yeah. We need modern discussions and modern takes. to keep the conversation going. And it's
like challenging the ideas is also very important.
Challenging what?
Challenging the ideas. Like if someone says that the Warscape engine is the end of all.
Uh-oh, you cut out there.
All Engine of Total War. I like to give the example of the Warscape engine and like how people keep blaming it. That's the fucking graphics engine of Total War, and nothing's really responsible for its. I don't know. If you don't like graphics, I guess.
Then I guess it's a problem. But anything outside of that, it's not going to change anything. And you're right. Our ideas have to be challenged. I thought I had a good understanding about mechanics and stuff. But this conversation has made me realize that I need to induct some new perspectives into my ideology. So, and it's important not to be in a bubble, in a feedback chamber, and it's important to, as a community, to be a community. If we're going to do this, if we want things to change, if we want to stop being the old guys on YouTube playing a 20-year-old game talking about how all the new ones suck, then we have to come together and start coming up with some solutions, whatever that looks like. But we have to do it together. And so, again, thank you for meeting me in this capacity. This was very.
This was unexpected, actually. Like, I just posted comments, so I just disagree with some points and like gave some ideas. And I don't know how that even started.
Yeah, no, I saw you doing that. That's how that started. I said, I gotta talk to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Holy shit!
I gotta get him on Discord. So yeah, thank you so much for coming out. One more time, is there anything you want to bring up or say?
Just fuck you to Jack Lusted, whoever that guy is responsible for the fucking. We have to make the player win the battle, have the decisive flank, fuck everything. No abstracted unit orders or even the courier system. Just fuck that. Even though like there's projects coming out that have courier systems, like messengers that are being sent out, like you give orders to units that way. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But Jack Lusted is like, nah, man, you have to have direct control to the point where, like, in Rome 2, you have to fucking turn the units around manually to face charges or throw pila. Like, actually, fuck off, man.
Yeah, screw you, Jack Lusted. We know who you are. We know where you came from too.
Stop designing games, or like, I don't know, maybe design units. That's where you probably are better at.
Quit. All right.
Make mods or something.
Go back to making mods. You were better when you weren't getting paid to screw games up. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. We'll call it here. But I'll probably call upon you again to join me. So just if you're open to that, I'd like to.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, man. And I didn't write an ending to this video, so it's gonna turn off now.